And that, my friends, was the Carolina Dodge Dealers 400 at the Darlington Raceway, the track Too Tough to Tame, known as the Lady in Black. First off, happy Mother's Day to every single one of you. All the mothers out there, dead, alive, past, present, old, new, young, you know who you are. I do miss my abuela, which is my dad's mother on his, my grandmother on his side of the family, and her daughter, which is my dad's sister, is also my godmother, my titi Nancy, my mother Linda, my grandmother, which is her mother Virginia. I mean, I love them all. Even the older ladies that are like mother figures to me. That mostly it's either because I just simply love them or I'm like best friends with their kids. So it depends on the real estate. And what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, and to drama club. What was her? Oh my god, my notifications go away. I'm sorry about that. I hate when I'm fucking recording on my phone and like a notification pops up out of nowhere and fucks it up like Fabrizio Berto. What was I? Oh, to Emma J and Maureen Baruco, and of course Monica and Maddie Whitby. It doesn't matter if, like I said on Facebook, not Facebook, although I did try to add you guys. Emma, I did send you another friend request today during the race. Go check that shit out, like Kevin LePage. So, Emma, Maureen, and even that Tracy, the Tracy lady who assisted you. And, of course, Monica, Joy Sharir, and Maddie Whitby. You guys did a hell of a job. Monica and Maddie deserve a huge raise at the end of the next pay week because that was the best drama club episode I've ever seen. And like I said on Twitter and Instagram, I don't care that Gregson got DQ'd yesterday in the Xfinity race or that the Spurs got run out of the gym by Portland, by the Blazers in Portland's home floor, because drama club made me the happiest guy on the planet last night, and that's all you can say. And looks like for the second time this week, I got chips and salsa for my dinner. I was going to have ribs, but it's like the ribs I'm not used to, because I think the Tony Roma's ribs, the smaller ones that I'm used to eating, got mixed up or something. I don't know. I saw them in the garbage, but it was not worth getting mad at like I would have done 10 years ago. So I said, no big, I'll have something else for dinner instead, even if it's not a true dinner, because I just love chips and salsa, especially the Tostitos bite-sized chips and the Chi-Chi salsa blended when, it gets the debris out. But anyway, let's talk about the race weekend. First off, trucks, I didn't get to see that. I turned it on for a few seconds, and John Hunter was leaving, but I thought, you know what? I'm too damn tired. I woke up too damn late for this shit. So therefore, and I woke up too damn late to watch the Spurs-Kings game, so I just chillaxed on Friday night. But Spurs beat the Kings, so therefore I have nothing to say about that. I didn't watch, so therefore the young guys led us to victory in that one, so yeah. So therefore, Xfinity was yesterday. You may have heard about Noah Gregson's DQ. Boy, am I glad he did not win that race, even though he had many opportunities to do it. He and Zane have not had the greatest year this year at all in Xfinity and trucks. But it's still in the season. There's still plenty of time for them to turn their luck around. Doo, 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 doo. Don't you turn them down. Doo, 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 doo. They can show you how. Doo, 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 doo. Turn their luck around. Hey, I decided to go full George Benson on ya. I used to love that song because it's Smooth Jazz V98.7 and 107.3 The Wave, the Michigan jazz station, and of course the Ohio jazz station. Now they're both gone, even though the Wave tried one more time to try to come back, and it was working at first. They were at one point in their prime coming back, but then it started to get worse as the years went on, and so eventually I grew tired of sleeping with the radio. And not grew tired, I grew out of it. So therefore I don't really get scared at night no more, so I don't have to sleep with music. Not that it mattered, because the Wave went away after Christmas 2019, going into that weird ass year we call 2020. But man. Anyway, Xfinity was pretty good. It didn't matter what happened or who won. The Dale Senior and Junior throwbacks went to victory lane with the Senior 2000 Daytona 500 Tasmanian Devil GM Goodwrench throwback, run by Justin Allgaier, won the race, and Josh Berry, they were both JR Motorsports cars like Gregson. The Dale Jr. 2001 Firecracker 400 MLB All-Star Game throwback get a second. So senior and junior went to victory lane together with Justin Allgaier and Josh Berry, and two cars on a race team owned by Dale Jr. And of course, we all know about Gregson failing inspection. I gotta tell you a funny story about that as a Gregson fan. I was in here like dancing up a storm on TikTok, and I was like celebrating, and it turns out I was like the Spurs in 2013, Game 6 of the finals. I counted my chickens before they hatched. I celebrated way too early because I forgot about post-race inspection. Gregson failed, got DQ'd, lost. It cost him his fourth place finish. He got kicked out to the very back of the lead lap because a lot of other cars were out of the race already before him. And he lost the $100,000 bonus and got given to the dinger AJ instead. So I really wasn't mad because I would be contradicting myself if I would have got mad about it. Because I was one of those many fans who wanted that rule. When drivers were winning races, but then if they failed post-race inspection, they would get to keep the win. And I was one of those many fans who thought it was unfair that if even the winner failed post-race inspection, they'd keep their win. So therefore, most NASCAR fans and myself included got their wish, so therefore it didn't even faze me. And so therefore Drama Club came on with Side Hustle, and Drama Club made me the happiest. It was the best episode I've ever seen. And it had Natalie Imbruglia's Torn, which basically actually isn't the original song. Look up that conspiracy and you'll see what I mean. Look for yourself. And I thought Natalie's was the original when I was a kid growing up in Ohio in the late 1990s. Boy, I was wrong. In 2019, I figured that out. But, Xfinity, aside from Gregson getting DQ'd, I said DQ'd like it was ice cream. That was really good race. Yesterday. Now, Winston Cup. Now, here's the part where I have a bone to pick with the unhappy fans. I understand where they're coming from, why they say it was bad, because one guy dominated all day long. There was no battle for the lead. I get it. But that doesn't mean the race was bad, let alone the racing product as a whole was bad. Didn't they not watch the 2020 Monte Carlo 400 at Richmond on my best friend Brindley Kerr's birthday last fall? Or even this year's Ford 400 at Homestead on my Willow's 93rd birthday? God rest his soul too, because Father's Day is next month. You see, those two races prove to us that 20 cautions, a wreckfest, and an upset winner isn't always required to have good races just like that. It's also not about, cars going backwards and sideways or being in the wall or into each other with, like a style of a wreck. It's not all it has to be about that. What am I trying to say here? Cars don't have to be sideways, backwards, in the wall or hard into each other every 5 laps to have good races. It's like nowadays people expect cars to crash every 5 laps to have good races. I mean, we did have a few crashes early on in the race. I can understand that. We had Almirola and Custer hit the back straightaway inside retaining wall with tremendous force, in the same spot, same fashion, and the same style of damage. And we had Kurt hit the inside front straightaway retaining wall and burst into flames. I mean, I can understand that, them be that kind of minor excitement happening early, and then second stage, barely anything happening. But, that kind of stuff like that. And third stage caution free, but that's not how you should look at any race as a good race. There were battles all over the place. There were some good battles throughout the field that Fox refused, like Jeff Gordon, to show. Because remember when Chris Myers and Jeff Hammond were in the Hollywood Hotel, Dick Berger and Steve Burns and Matt Yoakum were in the pit, and Darrell Waltrip was in the booth with Larry McReynolds and with Mike Joy instead of Gordon and Boyer. But and they used to show every single driver, every single battle, even mention every single driver in the starting lineup. When they had the classic, iconic doo-doo-doo starting lineup theme song. That's what I agree on. It's nowadays they just go blah, 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 blah when it mentions drivers, and they don't show all the good battles. That's the part they fail to realize, which probably leads to the complaining that nothing happens. But I thought it was a lot of battles throughout out the whole field. We saw a lot of competitive racing. But It's not always about crashes, people. When I was younger, I used to feel that way. When I was like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 years old, I used to like be obsessed with crashes. And I thought, whenever I saw Flip as a kid, that shit was exciting because they never used to happen very often. But nowadays, flips are a common occurrence at Daytona and Talladega. So as an adult, that shit is scary. As a kid, that's exciting to watch because normally flips happen 24/7 and video games, which is unrealistic, especially if a flip happens at a non-play track like Daytona and Talladega. And my arm's getting sore, so I have to like lean down. Okay, so therefore, MTJ dominated, and that's okay. If it was the driver that they like dominated, they probably would say it was a good race, and say like the opposite of what they were saying. So the whole hypocrisy from NASCAR fans and the amount of like ways they find a way to bitch about anything is unreal. It's like you can never please the fans ever. I try not to go down that route unless it's necessary. It's like fans like to complain about anything and everything for no reason. So therefore, yeah. And of course, the Spurs game last night after the Xfinity race, and of course Nickelodeon Saturday night. Not much you can say there except SAS got run out of the gym. If we're gonna bring Patty back next year, I'd say give him the Andre Miller role and like be a mentor and a leader for the younger guys. Have him come off the end of the bench at garbage time to the point where we like bury him deep behind the bench like we did Andre Miller until obviously the playoffs game. And even though, remember when Pop used to play Jasons and Boban, the two Spurs rookies, in the 15-16 season, and Duncan's last year, when he was washed up and not the same, well, all of a sudden, he actually ended up benching them out of nowhere in the playoffs for Kevin Martin, David West, and Andre Miller. You know what I'm saying? So it's, Pop has a fascination with vets that he doesn't want to let go. So it's either we give the keys to Becky or bring Duncan back to the coaching staff to let him be the next head coach. Because I'll never understand why Timmy left the Spurs coaching staff after last season. But so I'm going to end this video right now because speaking of Timmy, no Dover race weekend for me next weekend. So that means no MBNA Platinum 400 next weekend for me because me and my dad are going to Connecticut to see Duncan get inducted into the Hall of Fame. And like I said on TikTok, they were supposed to do that induction ceremony at the actual Hall of Fame last year. But because COVID happened and the pandemic hit, they had to change it up to a bigger and more safer environment. It's going to be at the Mohican, something called Mohican Sun or something like that. And then, it's going to be a safe place and a safe environment, social distancing. The ceremony is from like 4 o'clock, 4:30 to 7 o'clock, 7:30, which gives my dad and I enough time to go eat dinner after the induction ceremony. So I will see you guys throughout the week up until, going into Tim Duncan Hall of Fame induction weekend. This is going to be Tim Duncan week, and then going in next weekend, it's Hall of Fame induction weekend. So have a good night tonight and a better day tomorrow. Take care, everyone. Good night.